You got to remember, you only get this if I'm elected. But like places where the rent is high, there may be like like you still get your labor grades, which will be the government will pay your salary above what you get, but there'll be like a ceiling cap where the wage your rent won't go up. There'll be a ceiling cap on your rent, and I don't know exactly what the ceiling cap will be, but your rent can only be so high, and after that, the government pays the rent above a certain amount. After your rent gets so high, like in New York City, the rent's real high, and if the rent keeps going up, the government would pay the rent after a certain level, because even though you'd get a fairly high wages like McDonald's, you get 60% of $100 an hour, you still probably couldn't afford high rent. So there'd be a ceiling cap on your rent where you still get decent housing, and then the government would pay the rent over a certain level. I don't know what the level would be. We'd have to decide later on, where you still get decent housing and decent buildings, and the government would pay the rent over a certain level, where your landlord wouldn't be slum landlord or slum neighborhood. He'd still get enough money to maintain the building. The government would pay him money so he could maintain the building at a decent level. The government would pay him money above what your rent would be so he could maintain the building up to what the rent would be for normal housing. And there'd be a ceiling cap on what you would have to pay, where you could afford to live in decent areas in New York or different places, not only New York, but everywhere, so you could still live, even though you're maybe getting like a secretary's $200, or different areas, like a fry cook maybe $200, or waitress maybe 60% of $200, and in restaurants where the government pays your salary, and you get downloaded on a card, you may have to fill out paperwork and take it to the bank, and the bank downloads it on the card, or take it to anywhere where you put money on the card. You may have to take the paperwork there and have them look at the paperwork and see that it's filled out properly, and download it on the card from wherever you work, until your boss can get the machines, or just have the paperwork done ahead of time. Any employer would get the paperwork because they're an employer, and have it filled out just like filling out your paycheck. It may be a little bit more work, but you wouldn't be carrying the cash on you. You could spend it anywhere, and it'd do away with printing all this money. So the government wouldn't have to print as much money anymore, and it'd all be it'd be the same as cash, and it would be held just like it'd be electronically figured, to where the government would be just zipping money down wires from where you work to where you spend the money, but anyways, there'd be your rent would be controlled to where you'd only have to pay so much, and yet the person you're renting from would get whatever he thought was fair for wherever you rented, and you could get decent housing, a room for each of your kids, and a room for you, and a bathroom for your kids, and a bathroom for you, and a decent housing without having to pay overly priced housing. And thank you, bye. And you only get this if I'm elected.